You know, there's one idea that might sound a little strange at first. Opportunities don't come when you're looking for them. They come when you're ready to receive them. And this is where most people get stuck, because it feels like if there are no opportunities, then they simply don't exist. So you try harder, do more, push more. But if you look deeper, very often, the problem isn't that opportunities aren't there. It's that you don't see them, or you're not ready to accept them. And let's be honest, how many times in your life have there already been situations that could have changed something, but you passed them by, not because you didn't want them, but because inside there was doubt, fear, uncertainty. And in that moment, you don't even label it as an opportunity. You see it as a risk, as something complicated, as something unclear, and you walk away. And this is a very subtle point, because opportunities rarely look perfect. They almost never show up like, here's your chance, take it and everything will be easy. No, more often, they look like something. That slightly disrupts your comfort. That asks you to step forward. That requires a decision. And if there's no readiness inside, you close off and keep waiting for the right moment, which never comes, because it's not about timing. It's about your state. Opportunities start appearing when you stop protecting yourself from them, when you stop running away from the unknown, when you stop needing guarantees and allow yourself to move, even without full certainty. And here's the key. You don't become ready after the opportunity appears. You become ready before it, and that's what creates the shift. So let's look at this honestly. When something new shows up in your life, how do you react? Do you immediately think, this is a chance? Or is your first reaction doubt? What if it doesn't work? What if it's not for me? What if I fail? And that's completely normal. But the problem is, if you believe those thoughts, you automatically close the door without even checking what's behind it. And then it feels like there are no opportunities in your life, but in reality, you're just not allowing them to unfold. And this is where the real work begins, not in searching for opportunities, but in expanding your readiness to receive them. And that's much deeper, because readiness is not about actions. It's about your inner state, about how much you allow the new into your life, how much you allow yourself to step beyond the familiar, how much you trust yourself, even without having the full picture. So let's take a simple step. Think of a moment when you said no to something. It doesn't have to be big. Maybe it was a conversation, an offer, an idea. And ask yourself, why did I say no? And be honest. Was it truly not for you? Or was there fear inside? Because if you look closely, in many cases, it wasn't a conscious choice. It was protection. And that protection is what blocks opportunities, because it creates an illusion of safety. But in reality, it just keeps you where you are. Now imagine that next time something new appears, you don't immediately close off. You don't instantly say no inside. You pause and allow yourself to look at it, without rushing, without fear, and you ask a different question. What if this is an opportunity? And in that moment, everything starts to shift, because you open up, and in that state, life begins to give you more, not because it wasn't before, but because now you're ready to receive it. And then you start noticing more opportunities, the right people showing up at the right time, ideas coming easier, solutions appearing faster. And this isn't magic, it's your state. You stop blocking the flow and start working with it. And if right now you feel even a little more open inside, that means you're already moving in that direction. And that's what matters most, because everything else follows from here. If this resonates with you, make sure to subscribe, because this is where you start seeing things differently. And hit like nah, so this video can reach those who are still waiting for the perfect moment. Because opportunities don't come when everything is perfect. They come when you're ready to receive them. And remember, anything is possible.